It's James here from GoodGuitarist.com. Welcome back to 30 Days of Guitar. Today we're going to continue our adventure with the C chord. We're going to practice switching from G to C, and we're going to learn Give Peace a Chance by John Lennon. And if you've been following along with us so far, I thank you for that, and I thank you for subscribing to my channel. Hint, hint. Don't forget to grab your copy of my free ebook if you haven't done so yet. It has, all the chord shapes, strumming patterns, all the stuff. I think we're up to 41, 42 pages now. So, I'm always adding to it too. So you can always check back and get another copy, whenever. And with that said, let's just jump right in. Switching from G to C is another one of those order of operations things where we have to plan our move and really work on that muscle memory, right? Let's start at the G chord. And I like to, when I switch to C, I lift up everything. There's no common fingers, no common shapes. And I start with my ring finger. I put it on the third fret of the A string, then my middle finger on the second fret of the next string. I skip a string. I make my C chord just like we practiced yesterday. And I do it in that order. And then when I go back to G, I go like that. The bottom two first, and then these top two with my ring and pinky. So switching to C, I go 1, 2, 3. Switching back to G, 1, 2. And I do that over and over again. Silent switching. And be consistent. Do it that same way. Commit to that for a month. And if you find that it's not working, those chords aren't sounding good, and it's like your fingers are getting lost, because there's two things. First of all, there's making sure that the technique is there, that the strength is there, that your thumb is low enough and all that, and that's one of the, more important things. We had a whole lesson on it. The other thing is your fingers kind of getting confused as to where to go. And that's like the other part of the muscle memory, right? So that's why we got to be consistent and move them in the same places over and over. Commit to that for like a month. If you find it doesn't work, then you can change up the order. Maybe you could start with your index, middle, ring, and do it that way, and then start with these two fingers and go change in a different order and see if that might help you out. Ultimately, way down the road, it took me months before I could just, make the chord shapes like that, without really thinking about what order I'm doing it in. But for now, we're in that muscle memory building phase, and that's what we're going to do. Silent switching, chord switching game, and then we add it to a song. So silent switching, I'll leave that up to you. Chord switching game, let's just do a little bit of it on the G chord here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, switch, switch. C chord, switch, back. G chord, switch, switch. C chord, switch, back. G, switch, switch. C, switch, back. One more time. Switch, switch. C chord, switch, back. And then we'll be adding it to a song, and we're going to do Give Peace a Chance by John Lennon, just G and C back and forth. G chord for 2 measures and the C chord for 2 measures. Let's do that downstrokes only. We're going through our process, right? We want to get the chord progression before we get too into the rhythm. 1, 2, all we are saying. 4, 1, 2, give peace a chance. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, all we are saying is give peace a chance. It's just that over and over again. It has John Lennon's rap partway through it, breaking it up. But that is actually one of the easiest songs once you get that C chord down. One thing that if you want to play along and practice with the original recording, our capo is going to come in handy. We put it on the first fret, and then we pretend that the guitar ends there. So our G chord actually, instead of being here, we just move it up 1 fret. The capo goes up 1 fret, you move up 1 fret. All we are saying is give peace a chance. If you want to practice with the original recording, that's what you have to do to get into the correct key, is put it on the first fret. And you might think I don't want this fancy cheater device. I'm going to do it with real chords. Well, the real chords would be an A flat bar chord and a D flat bar chord, which are very physically demanding things. And, that's something that actually on day 31, that I want to talk about is, once we have the foundation, where we can go from there. And bar chords is one of those things, but it's a whole thing. I made a whole course about it because it's like a very important topic. And, the capo just makes it so that we just put the capo on the first fret, we can play with the recording. And say you want to go play it with somebody and they're like, yeah, I can't reach those notes. It's too high. You just put the capo somewhere, you try it in a different key. And, when I filmed my, our top 5 Christmas songs with my wife, there are songs that are comfortable for me to sing, but since she's a woman and has a different range than me, like for her, she was like singing way too low and all this stuff. And we had to, pull out the capo and make it more comfortable for her to sing, so it's a great tool in that way. Regardless of all that, practicing with the recording and all that aside, I do want you to work on that switch from G to C and really focus on it. As far as a strumming pattern that you can use with this song, most common strumming pattern ever, sounds great. All we are saying is give peace a chance, just 2 times on each chord. All we are saying. If you need extra help, I have my free ebook. I have my beginner guitar course, which takes you through the whole process. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you can keep following along with me. Otherwise, have a fun time practicing, and I'll see you tomorrow, where we are going to take a look at putting the G, C, and D chords together and playing through 3 easy songs. All right, see you then.